everybody. Today I am here in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania at Access Lift. We're picking up a Hitachi ZX245 excavator. I have already got my paperwork. Made up a BOL for me, so I'm good to go to load up. We need to drop the trailer out and then walk over and get the excavator. It is back in the corner back there, so we're going to go grab it, verify the serial number, and then we'll track it over here and load it up on the trailer here, and then we should be good to roll. Alright, we got the trailer dropped out. Now we need to walk over and get this excavator. $350. Oh, maybe ours. This is a 245. Let's see. 700628. This is ours. So let's take a look. Big bucket on there. Definitely not a new unit, but that's okay. They can't all be new. I should have brought my gloves so I could get all that crap out of there. That's all right. We'll get her cleaned off. I might pull it up to the edge of the grass there and go grab my shovel and clean it out. So let's see if she fires up. Oh, a key would be helpful, which I don't have. Well, gonna need a key. All right, back to the office, ask about a key, and I can grab my shovel on the way back. So grab my shovel and then we can clean it off there before we load it, and hopefully won't get a bunch more dirt on it on the way out. If we go like straight back through there, it should be all right. So, but we need a key in order to start the thing and get it up on the trailer. We have acquired a key. Hopefully it will be the right key that will start this. While I'm over here, I'm gonna grab my shovel and my gloves. Maybe we can get it cleaned off. So you would kind of think that if a place is renting out an excavator and the guy's coming in to pick it up, they would get it out, make sure it's running, clean it off, so the truck driver that comes in to pick it up doesn't have to spend an hour messing with the thing before he can load it on his trailer. But he would be wrong. So anyway, let's see if it starts first, and then we will see about getting some of this crap cleaned out here from the tracks. Battery disconnect. I believe the battery disconnect is off. Boy, I hope so, else the batteries are real dead. So let's see. Aha. There we go. Now I bet she'll start. It's always a good sign when that is turned off. There, we got something. Fired right up. Some crust in there. Well, I ain't messing with that. Okay. Now let's get some of this dirt cleaned off of here. And then we'll see about tracking out of here. It's not too bad. All right. So we got her cleaned off. Just thinking of where to put you guys so you can actually see what's going on. Alright, we got the thing loaded up. Now we got to connect the trailer, or the neck of the trailer back to it. Then we can get it chained down. Hope you guys enjoyed that view. It was a little different than I usually do. So maybe that'll work, maybe not. Alright guys, now it's time to get this tied down. I got a comment on one of my previous videos asking for me to explain where to tie things down and how many chains you got to use and all of that. So figured I'd go over that in this video. So this excavator, they have it listed at, I think the Raycon said 58,000 pounds. We looked up the specs online and they said that this is actually from Hitachi. Said it's like 56,000 pounds. Sorry, just getting a little dirt off here. I want to notice it. And I think we're permitting. So South Carolina is notorious about taking forever to issue a permit. So we went ahead and submitted the application for the permit last night. They're not expensive for permits, but it does take them a while. So I think we submitted that one at 60,000 pounds. Any vehicle, tracked, wheeled, whatever, you have to have at least 4 chains on it, one on each corner. If a vehicle has an attachment, like a boom with a bucket or whatever, that attachment also has to be chained. And it does have to be a chain, at least in Pennsylvania, which is where we are today. Pennsylvania requires a chain on any attached implements, not a strap. So we'll have our 4 chains and our chain across the boom. In addition to that, you have to account for 50% of the weight of the machine. So we'll call this 60,000 pounds. We have to account for 30,000 pounds worth of weight. So our 4 chains, these are I think it's 11,300 pounds working load limit. The chains are, my binders are good for 13,200. The working load limit is just what you use to figure out how much you have to use to account for the weight, if that makes sense. Probably not. Anyway, so I always figure there are 2 types of securement: direct and indirect. Direct means you are attaching from the trailer, going over the load and back to the trailer, so it does downward force on the load. An indirect attachment is going from the load, so if you attach to the load at a point and then just directly to the trailer, that actually, I have it backwards, that's a direct attachment. So the direct attachment, you only get half of your working load limit of your chain. So if that's 11,000 pounds, then each chain we use on the 4 corners is worth 5,500, which means we get 11,000 pounds of securement on each end of the excavator, because we have 4 chains. So that accounts for 22,000 pounds. If we use a 3/8 chain to go over the boom, which would be an indirect tie down, that gives us another 6,600 pounds, so call it 6,000 pounds. So if we have 22 and 6, that's 28,000 pounds. So that doesn't get us there on this piece of equipment, because we have to account for 30. We're still 2,000 pounds short. As a general rule, I try to do anything under 40,000 pounds. I will do 4 chains if it has an attachment, chain on the attachment. Between 40 and 60,000, I like to do 6, and then anything over 60, 8 chains at a minimum. That's probably a little overkill, but it makes me feel safe, so that's what I do. Also, on excavators like this, especially new ones, sometimes with an older one, I will take a chain and I will go right over here and attach back to the trailer, and that's actually an indirect tie down, so that will give you a lot more weight. But on new pieces, or pieces where it's gonna interfere with the track, I find it's just easier to put 8 pieces of securement on it. So I'll do a binder right to the track, over to the edge of the trailer on both sides, and then I'll go to the tie downs inside. It has tie downs from the factory there, you can see, and I'll take those across to the edge of the trailer, and then on the back I do the same thing. So that's kind of what I do. So I actually have 8 and then chain across the boom. That way it's plenty of securement and I don't have to worry about anything moving. It's secure. So that's what I like to do. I hope that explains how the working load limit thing works. That's the rating. The working load limit is the rating of your chains and binders, and then that adds up to the securement you have on the machine, and you have to secure for half the weight of the machine. So if that makes sense. And they do make a handbook for this. I believe it's FMCSA puts it out to them, or CVSA. It's a driver securement handbook. You can look on Amazon, they probably have it, or at truck stops. I used it all the time when I first started out with the flatbed, just because you get some funky loads and you're like, what's the requirement on this? So you go to the handbook and you look it up. Easy to use. If you're new in trucking, I really recommend it. Don't be too proud to consult the manual. That's what it's there for. So that explains it. Now we just got to do it. right, we got this all chained down. So we've got 2, 4, so that's 22,000. We've got 2, 4, 44,000, plus 6, 50,000 pounds. And this thing's a little bit heavier than they said, than the broker said, so it's about 60,000 pounds, but we are way over half. Last thing, we want to turn off a battery disconnect. All right, so we've got it secured. Now I have to get my banners and my flags out. So a little crash course in oversize. You're required to have a banner, black and yellow, and there's a certain size letters. They're all pretty much standard. You buy at a truck stop. So you gotta have a banner on the front, banner on the back of the trailer, and then you're required to have flags, red or orange flags, and every state is a little different. So I have red flags because every state accepts red. Some states do not accept orange. So you need flags at the widest points of the load. And then for West Virginia requires flags at the 4 corners of the vehicle. So 2 on the back of the trailer, 2 on the front of the truck. And then we'll have our beacons going, and we have flashers on the back of the trailer. So that's next. That's what we have to get done. Oh, and we need an exhaust cover. All right, we are ready to go. As you can see, we have our banner, our flags, we got flashers going. We have flags on the widest points. We have all of our securement. We have a cover on the exhaust so that air can't get into the exhaust and spin the turbo while the engine's not running. Got our flashers going on top of the truck. And we've got our banner on the front with our flags. So check, 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 and check. And we are ready to head out. so far we have made it down here to the rest area in North Carolina. I'm not sure what town it is, but it's the one that's in the middle of the interstate. Any truckers out there, if you know the one I'm talking about. We booked up at a hotel in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, which is about 75 miles to go. We do still have to get around Charlotte. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon right now, so I'm anticipating losing some time around Charlotte because we have to hit 85 South, and it always backs up around there. But that's the plan for the rest of the day. We'll get down there, and then we'll have about 75 miles to go in the morning to get this delivered. I guess the guy that normally receives this stuff is on vacation, and the other people said that they don't start until 9. So I'm just gonna get up in the morning and head down there. If I gotta wait for them to show up, so be it. Maybe I can get unloaded and be ready for them when they get there. Anyway, I'm gonna go check the load, make sure chains are tight, and then we will continue our journey. I'm probably gonna leave you guys inside. I've been running through thunderstorms on the way down here. It'll go from no rain to pouring and lightning and thunder and everything. So I think I'll leave you guys inside with me for the rest of the day. Maybe in the morning it'll be a little nicer weather, and I can get you back outside on the excavator. So. This intersection down here around Charlotte from 485 to 85 South has got to be the worst intersection I encounter coming down around here. I just don't every time you come down here you lose an hour sitting waiting for this stupid intersection. I don't know if it's the way they have it set up, but it gets backed up coming both ways, and then you have people that skip the line and cut in front of everybody else, and it just backs everything up. It is always like this every time I come down through here. Alright guys, we have made it down here to Kings Mountain. I'm backed in here and parked at the Quality Inn. So I'm going to go get checked in, probably DoorDash some food, and get some sleep. And then we'll be up in the morning, about 75 miles to delivery. and then we can get this excavator offloaded and be done with this load. So I will see you guys in the morning. Alright guys, we just got here to Fountain Inn, South Carolina, to our delivery. Apparently nobody's here yet. I guess the guy that's usually here is on vacation. So Jen spoke to somebody yesterday, said they usually get here around 9, and it is 8:30 now, so we got about half an hour to wait. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing, get some of the chains off and all my banners down and everything. That way all we got to do is unload it, get paperwork signed, and we can take off. Alright, we got half the chains off. I still have 4 binders on there. The banners are down, so it's just 4 binders and then we can run this thing off. So hopefully somebody will show up here pretty soon. That looks like them there. So maybe we can go get this thing unloaded. This load is completed. Got the excavator off. There it sits. So thank you guys for watching this one. I really appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the subscriptions. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000, so let's keep pushing. Yeah, so just thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for the next video.